This morning, we're learning new details regarding Mr. Trump's efforts to crack down on illegal immigration. His administration sending thousands of troops to the southern border here in Texas, the Mexico border. Communities now bracing, apparently, for impact as a result. Our Lacey Beasley in the studio with us this morning. Lacey, we are talking about, 1,500 U.S. troops to the southern border, we understand.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Steve and Carmen. 1,000 will come from the Army, 500 will be Marines, and all will be deployed to patrol areas here in Texas and in California. Now, that number of troops could spike to 10,000, according to an internal memo obtained by CBS News.
Trying to end them, and a lot of the people in those communities don't want them. This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in.
Now, internal documents instruct border agents to immediately deport migrants who cross into the country illegally and deny them an asylum request. Previously, this process included arresting the person for illegal entry, processing their asylum claim, and in most cases, allowing them to remain in the U.S. with legal protection. This will no longer be the case under the Trump administration. Some communities across the U.S. are now fearful of ramped up raids. The biggest questions: will ICE raid schools and churches? We posed that question to an immigration attorney who is a former chief legal counsel to ICE in Dallas.
ICE does very little community operations. They have very limited numbers of officers. I think they're going to focus on so-called sanctuary cities, cities that aren't cooperating with ICE. For example, in Dallas, the sheriff does cooperate with ICE. The odds are very slim that ICE is just going to show up and arrest someone. I mean, ICE isn't going to show up at 9 o'clock mass and start arresting people. They're not going to do that.
Now, we also reached out to the Catholic Diocese of Fort Worth and Dallas. Both declined to comment, but the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops did release a statement saying, quote, "The executive orders on immigration is deeply troubling and will have negative consequences, many of which will harm the most vulnerable among us." Oaklawn Methodist Church in Dallas has helped migrants and immigrants for years, giving them resources to relocate. Now, Associate Pastor Ryan Wager says, quote, "While news of the current threats may inspire fear, we choose to focus on being a source of safety, hope, and strength for those who need it most." Now, Trump's administration wants the Justice Department to investigate any instances of local and state officials disobeying the enforcement policies. So that's something we'll, of course, be keeping our eyes on. For all these troops being sent to the border, this will be in addition to the 2,500 National Guard forces already there, but they're working under state orders from Governor Abbott, known as Operation Lone Star. And these fast-acting changes are all in line with Trump's campaign promises to secure the border and quickly. Carmen, Steve.